saw my every need. Would you turn to chapter 4, the reading of the Word of God? It says, now there cried a certain woman of the wives of the son of the prophet unto Elijah, saying, thy servant my husband is dead, and thou knowest that thy servant did fear the Lord. And the creditors is come to take unto him my two sons to be bondsmen. And Elijah said unto her, what shall I do for thee? Tell me, what hast thou in the house? And she said, thy handmaid had not anything in the house, save the pot of oil. Then he said, go borrow thee vessels abroad of all thy neighbors, and even empty vessels, borrow not a few. And when thou art come in, thou shalt shut the door upon thee and thy sons, and shalt pour out into all those vessels, and thou shalt set aside that which is full. So she went in from him, and she shut the door upon her and upon her sons, and who brought the vessels to her, and she poured out. And it came to pass, when the vessels was full, that she said unto her son, bring me yet another vessel. And he said unto her, there is none vessel left. And the oil stopped. And the oil stopped. Then she came unto and told the man of God. And he said, go and sell the oil and pay the debt, and live thou and thy children of the rest. I want to talk from this message. God has an answer to your need. Tell your neighbor, God has an answer to your need. There's a popular idea, a feeling of a mental conception in our world today that totally opposite of what the Bible teaches. It tells us that if we as believers will trust in God and believe in him, we'll never have to face opposition, crisis, heartaches, or adversity. Nothing could be farther from the truth. Some of us sitting in here today, in our lifetime, have had some ups and some downs, some adversities, sequences or events or unknown forces that alters one's sphere in life. Some are unexpected sickness, some painful situation, an unseen financial distress, some unpreventable accident. Am I right about it? Somebody in here right now is facing some kind of wind and storm of adversity. And you're left wondering how you're going to make it through another day, let alone another week or month. Yet, our only hope is found in the chronicles of God's written word. Within the pages, you'll discover that you're not alone. Within the pages, that you'll discover that He's the only solution to life's problems. And the answer can only be solved one way, and that's God's way. Within the pages, you'll discover through eternity of time, we can trust God for strength and encouragement. Within the pages, you'll discover God is still an eternal strong anchor in the time of a storm. Tell your neighbor, God has an answer to your need. Notice in our text, there's a providential dilemma. The wife of a prophet, a concerned widow and her son. Though we don't know the name of this woman, we do know something that's most important about her. She was a godly woman. She had a heart for God and a love for the man of God. She had been married to a prophet whom she knew was a man who feared the Lord. He had a reputation and lived as being a God-fearing man. He was one of the 7,000 that God had preserved, who did not bow down, bound to Baal. He had a reputation and lived as being a God-fearing man. He didn't compromise or comply nor tolerate with the king of Israel. Idolatry, worship was running rapid in the land of Israel during that time. She says to Elijah, "Thou knowest that he feared the Lord, and this widow woman in her distress turned not to the banker, nor did she turn to the lawyer, but she went to the prophet Elijah, a prophet of God. She turned in the right direction. She appeals that thou knowest that he is a man that feared God, and her appeal was on the basis of her husband, godly character,